Hey, what's up, champions? Welcome to Growth Mode. I'm your host, Donnie Bovine, the CEO and founder of Success Champions. I spent over 20 years in the sales game, and the last 3.5, almost 4 now, running my own business. And I've spent that entire time learning how to get better at sales and growing and scaling my business. Hanging out with me, as always, is my buddy Kevin Snow, a sales and automation tactician and genius. I don't know what any of those big words mean, but it sounds like he's supposed to be really good at sales automation stuff. On his show, we always debate all things sales, business development, growth, and scaling. And we dive in from the viewpoint of an extrovert and an introvert. Kevin, on this episode, what the heck are we talking about?
Hey, Donnie. Hi, everyone. So I want to talk about networking today, and specifically pre-pandemic, we would network, and you'd get together with someone and have coffee, and you would have your one-to-one networking building event that way. Well, now we're stuck on Zoom, so we're now doing virtual coffees. So I've had some lately that are horrible. So I want to talk about how to do one right where both people get a lot of benefit from that time.
All right, well, let's put this caveat on there as we dive into this, that 99% of the people in the world, I think, do virtual coffees wrong. And
I agree.
There's a couple reasons to it. Yeah, there's a couple reasons to it. The biggest one is they go into a virtual coffee to sell something, okay? Let me explain this, and I'm going to try and explain it in a way that really makes sense. For me, every virtual coffee is a sales call, but I don't expect to sell a motherfucking thing. There's a huge difference to that thought process. When I sit down with somebody and we're going to do a virtual coffee one-on-one via Zoom, looking at each other through the screen, they're at their house, park, whatever, I'm at my farm hanging the fuck out, and we're doing a get to know you. The moment, the point, the brilliance behind doing that virtual coffee is to get to know that person you're sitting across from so damn well that you could introduce them to your best clients, right? And they should be respecting your time to do the same damn thing. But here's the trick. Kevin and I do a very similar virtual coffee. I'm a little bit different than the way he does it, but I can tell you that without a doubt, I have a unique way of doing a virtual coffee. So I'm going to walk you through mine, then Kevin will walk you through his. But for me, I'm never, ever going to be the first one to go on a virtual coffee. All right. And the reason I don't want to be the first one to go is I want to understand specifically how I can help that person. Very few people are built like Kevin and I, and we fully embrace opening fucking doors for other people. I mean, we will literally dive into somebody's world, purposely trying to figure out who we can introduce them to, right? It's just how we're wired. So for me, I'm going first, but it's beyond a little bit more than how they're wired. I'm going first so I can specifically see if they fit into any one of the realms of my products and services, okay? But here's the trick. I never get caught. It's not about sitting across from somebody and ever coming across like you're selling a motherfucking thing. And most people, because they lack the ability to walk away from somebody when they're sitting across from them, they lack the ability to respect somebody else, they get caught in this moment of, well, shit, I'm sitting across from somebody, I better sell them my shit. Right, so I'll start there, Kevin. What about you when it comes to virtual coffees? Are you similar? Where are you different?
So, yeah, we're really similar. I go in with the whole idea that I'm not going to talk at all. and I'm going to ask lots of questions. And because I want the other person to be sharing their life story, I want to know everything there is to know about them, and I'm doing it not so much to figure out how they fit in with my products and services. I'm really focusing on who do they know, where do they work, what types of clients do they work with, what types of vendors do they have, and I'm trying to figure out their ecosystem and what their network looks like. And for me, it's to see if there is that ability for them to pass referrals.
Yeah.
And if
go ahead.
and oh, that's fine. So that's my big thing, is trying to figure out what their bubble looks like.
Yeah,
because I know myself, and we talked about this last episode about scaring prospects away by your genius. If someone starts asking me questions about what I do and how I do it, I'm going to geek out and I'm going to go all in. So, and that's why I focus my initial meetings with potential referral partners on who their network is and trying to figure out how they interact with people.
Yeah, I've got to put one caveat into what I said a second ago, that every virtual coffee is a sales call. If they're a part of my networking team, like they're a member of Success Champions Networking, that virtual coffee is never going to be a sales call. That virtual coffee is going to be 100% who the fuck can I get them to and how quick can I get them to them.
Yep.
Right? Who can I open the doors for? So when I'm talking about a virtual coffee in this way, I'm talking a first meeting off a DM, an outreach, a referral, something along those lines. Somebody else brought them to the table. First time we've ever met. If we've known each other, we've networked, but we've never jumped on a virtual coffee. Different conversation. So
yeah,
I mean,
virtual coffee off of LinkedIn, I'm either expecting to get sold to, or right. I think there's some opportunity for me to sell them. A virtual coffee with someone that I want to be a referral partner is all focused on the network for me.
Yeah, for sure. And so let's do that. So a virtual coffee with somebody you network with that you really want to dive into their Rolodex, which you should. You should be opening doors for them without even thinking about it. Mainly because opening door for them is the right thing to do. It's not this giver's gain bullshit. It's literally opening doors because you should be opening doors for other people and not be a selfish prick only looking for a handout. So I mean, and that's the portion that I think people screw up in their networking groups and everything else, is they expect that networking group to be their prospect list and that they should be selling everybody, and that's where they fuck up royally.
If you go to a virtual coffee and when you get there, or an in-person coffee, because we can do those again now, and you pull out your pitch deck and start paging through and showing me pictures, it's not going to end well. That virtual coffee is now turned into a training program where we're going to teach you how to do one correctly.
Right. But flip that to the person coming off LinkedIn. Is I'm 100% using that as a way to get them. And look, as I'm going through that virtual coffee, it's either, hey, we're going to figure out how we should partner up. I'll put you in one of my programs or anything else. Or we're going to finish that call. As long as you're not a douchebag, we're going to finish that call. And I'm going to make introductions for you. I may not be making referrals for you. And I'll tell you the difference, right? But I'm going to be like, hey, this isn't a referral, but I think you should meet so-and-so. You guys might have some good synergy.
Yep.
And you want a surefire way to piss me off? Let me do an introduction, and then you reach out to me and go, look, this isn't a referral. No, motherfucker, I said it was an introduction in the first place. Take the fucking meeting, right? If I'm saying you two need to fucking get together, you need to get together. There's a reason behind it.
Yep. I'm the same way with people. Both of us are looking at how people can connect and trying to fit, it's like a jigsaw puzzle for us. All right, how do these two pieces work together and what can they do? And I've had this conversation with lots of our members. It's like, well, you should talk to this industry. Well, this would be a great referral partner for you. And they're like, well, why? And then I tell them, it's like, well, I never thought about that before. That's genius. I'm like, well, yes, it is. But, and that's what we do. And that's what you should be thinking about when you're doing a virtual coffee.
Well, but I don't think people mean to be selfish by nature. I don't think that's their thing. I think I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. They don't know better.
Yep.
And at least that's what I try and tell myself. And I'm like, guys, if you would literally spend an hour of that conversation going, okay, tell me about your past clients. Who have you worked with? What industries were they in? What titles did they have? And why they're talking to you, pull open your LinkedIn, pull open your contact list. Or if you're old as fuck, pull open your Rolodex. And as they're fucking going through it and telling you what you need, who you need to talk to, then go, you know what? I've got a person in this industry. I haven't talked to him in a few years. Like, literally, a buddy of mine, great friend. We've done some tremendous networking over the years. I reached out to me not long ago and said, hey, I see you're connected to this CEO of a company locally. How well do you know him? And I said, well, he was a client of mine for 3 years, a really good guy. But I got to tell you, I haven't talked to him in 2 or 3 years. And he goes, well, my brother is applying to work there and is a really good guy. And I asked him, I said, dude, is your brother built like you or is he an asshole? And he goes, no, he's really built just like me. I said, stand by. And I went to LinkedIn. I sent that CEO a message, and I connected first. And I said, hey, James, we haven't talked in a while. I hope all things are well. But to get past the bullshit of niceties, I've got a buddy that I've known for years. I respect the fuck out of. He's a hard worker. He's an absolute badass. And his brother just applied to take on one of your engineering roles for your company. And I said, if he's any as good as Jason is, then this dude will be a rock star for your business. And that CEO said, here's my email. Make sure you get me his resume personally. And he hired him a week and a half later. But that's the value of it all. Is you're always positioning yourself as the guy that can get people to where they want to go. And it's how it should be.
I love that with my clients. When I was doing a ton of the local Twin Cities networking type stuff, and I'd be out and about, all my clients knew that I had this huge database of people that I had relationships with, and they knew they could come to me and ask questions, say, hey, I need this. Who do you know? And it was always so fun being the hub.
Yep.
And it was all because I had built these really quality relationships where I could make those recommendations and not have any worries about what's going to happen. Now that my company's gone way more nationwide, it's a little bit different because people are like, hey, who do you know in Philadelphia that does this? No one. But I know some people in Philadelphia. Let me ask. Let me ask them
that's the
who
trigger,
they know.
right? Yeah. And it's like I had somebody reach out to me at one point for like a real estate agent in North Carolina, and I didn't have anybody there. But I knew some badass networkers and connectors out there that I reached out to them. I'm like, cool, I trust you. If I needed a badass, realtor, who's that person there in that area? And they're like, without a doubt, this is your contact. And then I passed that name through, and I put the caveat on there. Hey, my friend who I respect the fuck out of said, this is the person you need to be talking to. This is my recommendation. Reach out.
Yep.
My name won't be a whole lot of value in there, but tell them they came from so-and-so. Because they don't know me, right? Now I probably will reach out to said realtor and say, hey, let's grab a virtual coffee because in the future, if I need a realtor in that area, I'd like to know you more.
I think the other thing that people screw up on their virtual coffees or even in-person coffees is they don't leave with expectations for what happens next.
Yeah, agreed.
They have the meeting and it was awesome, and they leave there. It's like, sweet, we had this really cool meeting, and we're so excited. They're going to be a great referral partner, and then nothing happens. And it's because they didn't set up next steps. It's just like that sales relationship, or it's just like dating. After that first date, there's always, you set the expectation of, do I call you again? Do we go out again? What's going on? And you know what's happening.
Right.
So
the one thing we didn't talk about is, how do you do a virtual coffee when it's somebody you network with? It's really simple, and I can nail it in 30 seconds. Sit down with somebody who's a networking partner, tell them to bring their Rolodex, you bring your Rolodex, and you spend the entire meeting making introductions for each other. That's all you need to do. Don't worry about diving too deep in each other's world. Open doors for each other, and it'll take care of it. So, as always, guys, I hope you got a couple of tips and tricks out of this. Make this a value, pour into other people, open doors for others, and you're going to be blown away at how well these virtual coffees are doing. And I promise you, if your business is struggling, it's because of the amount of virtual coffees you are not doing. These will absolutely transform and change your business. And as always, if you guys got any tips, tricks, any value out of this whatsoever, do us a favor and teach somebody else how to subscribe to this show. Grab their phone, open whatever podcast app they listen on, pull up growth mode, click the subscribe button, and tell them they should dive into the show. It means everything for us. We'll catch you next go around, guys. Stay out of trouble. See ya.